So let's get into the weeds on that. Letter A on page 1, and write it there in italics. You'll see that it says that it can be an oral or written request. Applications don't have to be in writing. If this piece of paper was an application form, it would have the word application on there, or Fannie Mae 1003. I always like to tell people that's not an application. It documents an application. So an application is not a piece of paper. It's an oral or written request. It's a request for credit. And I kind of wish there was a period right there, because that would make it much more simpler. It goes on to talk about made in accordance with your procedures, and lots of institutions want to say, well, see, we don't call that an app just yet, and this gets kind of gray. Now, before we go very far, I want you to jump down to A1 and read this about procedures being used, and it says there, it's your actual practices. So back up in letter A, when it said that it's an oral written request for extension credit made in accordance with your procedures, not your policy. You might say that we don't take verbal applications. They have to be in writing, and they have to come through our website or things like that. Is that what's really happening? Because A1 clarifies that if you take a phone call and you say to somebody, I'm sorry, I don't think we can help you with that, you just said no. You said no to a request, that's a denial. And then you would need to send them an adverse action notice, which we're not going to go any further much there today, but that demonstrated your actual practices. When I worked for the FDIC, and I always like to pause here and go, hi, my name's Dave. I'm a recovering regulator. But when I was an examiner, and as a consultant now even, I want you to understand that I'm often in institutions and I'm hearing them talk like that. And I'll say, wait a minute, you said that your policy and procedures was not to take verbal apps, but I hear loan officers all the time saying yes or no to people over the phone. So actual practices is a big deal, not your policy. What do you really do is the emphasis here. I'm going to go back up to A, made in accordance with your procedures, is really talking about how you receive the application. And if you looked at it, number 2, it says you do have some latitude to establish the application process. But I think that this is really talking more about the channel of delivery. There are certainly institutions that say, we don't take home loan applications over the phone. We want them to go through our website and they fill out information there, or they have to fill out a Fannie Mae 1003 or something like that. We just don't talk to people beyond an inquiry stage. Great. If you truly do that, again, the procedures used, then we can hang our hat on that. But be careful that that's what you're really doing.